Welcome again to this particular session, and in this particular session what we are going to actually start up. We discussed in the last session the initial part of the Electricity Act 2003, and we talked a little bit about the theoretical sections, and then we moved over to the accounting part. We discussed, if you remember actually in the last session, accounting for security deposit. We'll still continue with that in this particular session itself. And now what we are supposed to take, just pay attention. So we are going to take in this particular session capital service line contribution. That is point number 2, capital service line contributions. Capital service line contributions, correct? So capital service line contributions, sometime actually electricity company receives some contributions to lay out the service lines, and that is known as what we call capital service line contributions from the consumers. So how the accounting of these contributions is done. So in order to understand the accounting for the same, I take up an example and then we begin the discussion. Example. Correct? Now what is the example? Write along with me. Z5, an electricity company, has incurred capital expenditure of rupees 100 lakhs having life of 10 years. Remember one thing, we have written that electricity company has incurred what we call capital expenditure. Remember one thing, electricity company has incurred capital expenditure, isn't it or not? So this capital expenditure means they have constructed some asset and it has a life of what we call 10 years. So now write 40% of the cost, actually just wait, 40% of the cost is capital / service line contributions by customers या फिर customers or consumers. Anything you can write over here, correct? Now my question is, generalize or give entries. So this is the question, that Z5 is an electricity company and it has received some contribution to the tune of rupees 100 lakhs, and life of the asset or the project, whatever it is of 10 years, and 40% of the cost is capital service line contribution. Now what does the regulations of the Electricity Act states? Now it is as simple as that. You presume yourself as the accountant of the electricity company, you are receiving 100 lakhs rupees, your first entry will be bank account debit to capital contribution account. It is as simple as that. No doubt about that, that capital contribution is a sort of income for you, but at the same time you will immediately not take this income to the credit of your statement of P&L account. Rather, each year you will take some proportion out of this contribution towards your what we call a statement of P&L. Correct? And in what proportion? In proportion of, generally we say depreciation charged, but it indirectly means actually in proportion of life. See here, what I'm trying to make the point. My first entry will be for contributions received. For contributions received. For contributions received. Your entry will be bank account debit. To capital service line contributions. How much contributions you received? 100 lakhs. So you shall write here 100 lakhs. This is your first entry. Correct? Now suppose the life of this particular asset is 10 years. Correct? That means each year my depreciation will be 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. So just I said that each year you are going to take some amount towards your statement of P&L in proportion to depreciation. Since you are, just actually let me explain the point. Let me take a rough sheet. Right. See here. Total cost of the asset is 100 lakhs. If I am going to divide it by 10, that means each year I am going to charge 1 lakh depreciation. This is for 10 years, isn't it or not? For 10 years, my depreciation will be 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. So proportion of depreciation for each year will be 1/10. Now my point is that this 10 lakh rupees which my electricity company has received, each year now 1/10 of this amount I am going to credit to my statement of P&L. The point is that in the first year itself I am not going to take the entire amount to the statement of P&L. Rather I am going to take what we call in proportion to depreciation charged. The amount I will then take to what we call statement of P&L. You got my point or not? So if you have got my point, then let me rub it out. Sometime to rub becomes a big problem. So now I will move back to the earlier slide. Yes, correct. So what will be my next entry? Point number 2. Next entry will be point number 2. Point number 2. And in fact entry number 2. Now next entry will be capital service line contribution account debit, and this entry means amount credited to statement of P&L in proportion to depreciation charged. So I will not take the entire amount to P&L, rather 1/10 of 100 lakh, only 10 lakh, and my entry will be capital service line, capital service line contribution account debit 1 lakh to statement of P&L account. Statement of P&L account. You got my point or not? So out of 10 lakh, 1 lakh we have taken to the credit of what we call statement of P&L. That means still there is a balance of rupees 9 lakh. that balance at the end of the first year will appear as capital reserve in the what we call balance sheet. This is what I am going to write here. Balance of rupees 9 lakh. I will take the next slide. Balance of rupees 9 lakh in capital service line contribution shall be disclosed in the balance sheet as capital reserve. And in the next year, at the end of second year, you will pass another entry, that is capital contribution account debit to statement of P&L, and 1/10 again you will take it to the what we call P&L account. Is it clear to you or not? So that is the second topic as far as electricity company is concerned. Now we come to a very important topic. An electricity company during the course of its functioning actually so often receives grants from the government also. Now we are going to take the treatment of grants received, and generally government provides grant under a scheme which is better known as Accelerated Power Development Reforms Programs. Accelerated Power Development Reforms Program, better known as APDRP. It is a pretty long form, Accelerated Power Development Reforms Program. Anyway, the basic purpose of this program is that we want the electricity company to provide better services, to provide facilities, correct, and to cover as much as area as possible. So that is the reason of late now government has started this program, and through this program government delivers what we call grant to the electricity company. Is it clear to you? But grants delivered by the government to the electricity company is of two types. Either it could be capital receipt or it could be in the form of revenue receipt. We'll talk about what we mean by capital receipt and revenue receipt also, but first of all you write along with me. So this is accounting treatment 3, point number 3, and point number 3 is grants received by electricity companies under accelerated power development and reforms program. And reforms program, better known as APDRP. So an electricity company, as I just said, actually receives what we call grants, and the grant could be either capital grant, or capital grant means of capital nature, or it could be of revenue nature. What will be the accounting treatment? That is what we are going to see under it. So you write now along with me. We'll take up one example to begin up with that. Now, example. Example 3. You write F10, an electricity company, F10, an electricity company, F10, an electricity company has incurred capital expenditure of rupees 100 lakhs having life of 10 years, correct? 70% of the cost is grant from central government. How will you come to know that it is a capital grant or it is a revenue grant? Because you have incurred a capital expenditure, that means you purchased some asset, you constructed some asset, you are constructing a hydropower electric station, whatever it is, but it was a capital expenditure. In order to meet that expenditure, grant has been given by the government. That is why it is a capital grant. Is it clear to you? It is a case of capital grant. Now the treatment will be similar to the capital contribution. First of all, you will receive the amount of the grant, then some proportion each year you are going to take the amount of the grant towards your what we call statement of P&L. It is as simple as that. So now your first entry will be, what will be the first entry? Receipt of grant. Receipt of grant. You'll pass the entry. Entry will be bank account debit to government grant account. Bank account debit to government grant account. You received a grant equal to 70% of 100 lakhs. Remember one thing. So your amount of grant will be 100 lakhs into 70%. That is equal to 70 lakhs. Correct? This is the amount of grant which your company has received. Now, life of the asset is 10 years. That means each year you are going to charge the same depreciation. So ratio will be 1 by 10, 1 by 10, 1 by 10, 1 by 10, 1 by 10. See, actually, try to understand this point. Just pay attention. Next slide. You need not require to write this, but just to explain the point, actually, I'm writing it here. For example, suppose if I ask you to compute the amount of depreciation. Since the total cost of the asset is how much? Total cost of the asset happens to be what we call 100 lakhs. Total cost of the asset is 100 lakhs. Correct? If I am going to divide it by 10, then depreciation each year for 10 years will be equal to 1 lakh. Each year for 10 years, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. So ratio will be 1/10 for each year. Isn't it or not? So when I am going to receive the amount of grant, the regulation states that in proportion to depreciation, you are going to credit the amount of the grant to your statement of P&L. So that is why my second entry will be like this. Amount of grant credited to statement of P&L in proportion to depreciation charged. in proportion to depreciation charged. So entry will be government grant account debit to statement of P&L account. Amount of grant is 70 lakhs and proportion of depreciation will be 1/10. So 7 lakh you are going to credit to your statement of P&L. That is my point. Is it clear to you or not? 7 lakh I am going to credit to my statement of P&L, and the next important point is that remaining amount of grant, at the end of the year 1, could you let me know what is the remaining amount in grant? Of course, at the end of year 1, total amount of grant was 70 lakhs and 7 lakh you took out of that towards your statement of P&L. So remaining amount is 63 lakh. Similar to capital contribution, this 63 lakh will be disclosed, what we call, in the balance sheet under the heading capital reserve. Correct? Rupees 63 lakhs shall be disclosed Now should I rub it out? Should be disclosed as capital reserve, in the balance sheet. So you are going to reflect it as what we call capital reserve in the balance sheet. So you must have understood by now that an entity could receive grant, and grant could be of capital nature. This time grant is of capital nature because this grant has been given to meet what we call your capital expenditure. Is it clear to you or not? Now sometime government gives the grant which is of revenue nature. In order to understand that point, let us have a look over here. Example 4. Z3, an electricity company is incurring losses full stop. It receives rupees 10 lakhs as grant. I have written in bracket incentives. Sometime it could be written at this way round, that so and so company received 10 lakh as incentive. It means it is receiving grant. Correct? 10 lakh as what we call grant from central government. If grant is given to meet the capital expenditure, it will be termed as capital grant, and the treatment you have just seen. And if the grant is given to an entity which is incurring heavy losses, in order to actually motivate that company that you should still operate. You should operate. You need not require to worry about your losses, because we are going to actually compensate it. That means if grant is given as a sort of incentive, as a sort of motivation, in simple words, if grant is given to offset or compensate the losses, then it will be treated as revenue grant. Is it clear to you or not? It will be treated as revenue grant, and the treatment will be like this. What happened? Pen is not working. Just wait. Sometime it becomes a bit problem. Right. So now page is there. Let me see. Is it okay? Right. Right. And well, now we will write here, correct? What I was supposed to write, actually it has skipped out of my memory, and we were talking about this particular concept that so and so company received what we call grant of rupees 10 lakh. Then in this case, actually I was talking about the grant was meant, oh, is it not visible to you? Just wait, just wait. Sometime, you know, when you write in electronic pads, it becomes a little bit of problem. Let me actually check it out. What happened? Yes, now it's okay. Next slide has been taken care of. So what was the point actually I wrote? Right, you write now, we are talking about grants received, which is of revenue nature. So in this case, my entry will be like this. Entry number 1, receipt of grant or incentive, correct? So your entry will be bank account debit to grant account or incentive account. Amount of grant received is 10 lakhs. Since it is of revenue nature, you will take the entire amount of grant to your statement of P&L. Grant transfer to statement of P&L. My entry will be grant or incentive account debit ₹10 lakhs to statement of P&L account. This is how I am going to actually take up this particular topic, correct? Now in the next session, when we are going to hold down a meeting with you, we are going to actually take up a very, very significant topic, and that topic actually deals with what we call calculation of average capital cost. But before that, let me actually remind once again what we did in this topic, so that you should not forget about that. Here, just write along with me. If amount of grant has been received to meet capital expenditure then it should be treated as capital grants. Correct? On the other hand, if amount of grant has been received for meeting cash losses or simply losses, then it should be treated as revenue grants. It should be treated as revenue grants. You must have noticed the difference in the treatment. In case of capital grant, the entire amount is not taken to the credit of a statement of P&L in one go. Rather, proportionate amount every year will be what we call taken to the statement of P&L, of course till the life of the asset. Correct? And in case of revenue grant, the entire amount is taken to the statement of P&L. So that's what's there for you in this particular session. When we'll meet you, we will definitely discuss some other aspects of electricity.